And welcome one, welcome all to the pregame show on the CCIW Network. The Vikings of North Park University looking for conference win number 1 on the road against the number 3 ranked in the nation Firebirds of Carthage College. Live from Tarble Arena off the today sunny coast of Lake Michigan, it's Carthage College Volleyball on the CCIW Network. Hello everybody, alongside my new friend, new colleague today, Ryan Reitz, former player and coach. I'm Peter Ferreri. Ryan, let's kind of set the stage for what is happening here. We have some players for Carthage getting some reps. Maybe they haven't usually been in the lineup, but North Central could come in and, North Park, and be a little bit of a spoiler. And they got, when you talk about things to play for, they got a lot of pride on the line here today trying to find that first conference win.
Yeah, most definitely. And, we're going to look at Carthage, the guys that haven't had a lot of playing time, come out today and see who can step up, see that they can fulfill that role and, get that extended experience. Like you said, North Park, they come in David versus Goliath. And, a lot of times teams may, play a little down to the competition or something in that sort. So, they could sneak a couple points, and if they get on a roll, you never know. So Carthage has to still come with that same fire that makes them a number 3 team in the country.
Let's look now at the CCIW standings, brought to you by the Stella Hotel and Ballroom. CCIW Carthage, top dog right now, the 5-1 overall record. That first loss a week ago, just a few games ago actually, against the Dewhawks of Loris. They're right in the middle. And then North Park at the bottom, 0-6. Carthage, cream of the crop. They're a few weeks away from clinching that number 1 seed and hosting the tournament. Can't necessarily slip up here on this Wednesday evening.
No, they still have to come with that same fire, that same heat, and really still play their game. You don't want to lose to a team that has a 1-20 overall record, 0-6 in the conference. So they still have to bring their A game, and have those guys that haven't got much playing time to step up and really take advantage of the time.
Let's look at where things are statistically between these two squads here on the Firebird Broadcasting Network, now part of the CCIW Network. Statistically speaking, let's start with North Park. No way around it. A lot of 6s on the board. But one thing, the service aces per set, they're 4th in the conference, and that could be one part because one of the challenges sometimes with Carthage has been that serve receive. It's good to see that, they're in the middle of the pack for aces.
As a player, a strong service game, it really gets you going. If you can get that service game going, it really sets the tempo. And if they can get a couple aces, a couple points in a row, you never know what can happen. So Carthage definitely has to get a great passing game, great serve receive game going, and not get caught up in a strong server on the side of North Park.
Let's look now by the Pullman Auto Store statistics for Carthage College. A lot of 1s, a lot of 2s. But again, on the flip side of that, Ryan, 2nd in kills, 1st in hitting percentage, 2nd in assists. Oppo first in service aces, but digs per set is 5th at 9.85. So we talk about that serve receive. It's something, how do you be cognizant of your 5th in the conference and maybe want to pick up those digs?
Sure. No, I think definitely they have to strategize. They have to understand who their stronger servers are and who their stronger passers are on the Carthage side. They're gonna target the weaker guys, and they have to step up, get that right to the setter so that they can get their attack going and really set the tone.
Let's look now at our players to watch, brought to you by the Doctors of Physical Therapy. Starting for North Park on the opposing side, we have number 8. He is one of the kill leaders for North Park, and that's going to be Gerald Buchanan Milana out of Guam, an international student. And that's going to be the player that Carthage, they're going to have to keep their eye on because they're going to feed him all game.
Yeah, definitely have to have their blocking game on, double block him to ensure that he's not getting in a good rhythm where he's going to be attacking left and right. But yeah, as long as they can focus on him and shut him down, then the other guys are on North Park are going to have to step up.
On the flip side for the Carthage College Firebirds, the transfer from Division I, Ryan Bartz. He was part of Ball State squad, wanted a change of pace, right in the starting lineup. What do you got on Ryan?
He's a high-volume scorer and contributes in the service game. He's the aces leader on the team. He's really, from what I've seen and what I've watched of him, he's the emotional statistical engine of this team. If he gets going, they're going to go right through the game how they should.
We're going to have starting lineups in just a few moments. National anthem coming your way shortly. Number 1 ranked in the CCIW, 3 ranked nationally, the Firebirds of Carthage College. They will play host to the Vikings of North Park. Eric Elger, public address announcer, to take it away.
Tarble Arena for tonight's CCIW men's volleyball match between North Park University and your Carthage College Firebirds. At this time, please direct your attention to the American flag located at the north end of the arena. It draped the coffin of Captain Frank Vavrin, a former Carthage student who died in Vietnam in 1970. The flag is a gift to the college from his parents. In remembering Captain Vavrin, we pay tribute to all who have sacrificed their lives for our country and honor those who today put themselves in harm's way in service to America. This evening's colors are presented by Paul Herrick, American Legion Post 21 Color Guard, headquartered in downtown Kenosha. The American Legion family has been serving Kenosha area veterans for over 100 years. So now please rise if you're able and remove your caps.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts which was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And now for the starting lineups. Tonight's match between the North Park Vikings and your Carthage Firebirds. First, let's meet the Vikings. Starting at setter, the 6-foot freshman from Skokie, Illinois, number 3, Gino Hamoy. At outside hitter, the 6'1 freshman from Minneapolis, Minnesota, number 4, Josiah Walker. At outside hitter, the 5'8 junior from Dadeo, Guam, number 8, Gerald Buhayan Mulana. At middle blocker, the 6'2 senior from Satchase, Texas, number 12, Jonah John Sampson. At middle blocker, the 6'5 sophomore from Sao Paulo, Brazil, number 16, Giovanni Serafini. At outside hitter, the 6'7 sophomore from Chicago, Illinois, number 22, Jan Dragan. And at libero, the 5'8 senior from South Bend, Indiana, number 25, Zachary Hayden. Head coach of the Vikings is Brittany Welch, assisted by Jackson Bongratz, Teddy Gedville, Carly Simona French, and Carolina Aviles. And now, fans, it's time to meet your Carthage College Firebirds. Starting at center, a 6-foot senior from Thomas Worthington High School in Worthington, Ohio, number 9, Joe Kolwitz. At middle blocker, a 6'4 junior from Wauwatosa East High School in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, number 11, Ethan Sprague. At opposite hitter, a 6'6 junior from Middleton High School in Middleton, Wisconsin, number 13, Ben Heiss. At outside hitter, a 6'5 senior from Muskego High School in Muskego, Wisconsin, number 16, Ryan Barnes. An outside hitter, a 6'3 sophomore from Lakes Community High School in Lake Villa, Illinois, number 19, Eric Stover. At middle blocker, a 6'7 freshman from Marquette University High School from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, number 20, Cooper Cantwell. And at libero, a 6-foot sophomore from Maple Grove High School in Maple Grove, Minnesota, number 23, Devin O'Callahan. Head coach of the Firebirds is J.W. Keygaper. Coach Keygaper is assisted by Matthew Pilch, David Marcus, Omar Rivera, Blake Rosen, Zach Nolan, and Ryan Cholowinski.
Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for NCAA Men's Volleyball, the number 3 ranked team in the nation, the Firebirds of Carthage College. Welcome the Vikings of North Park University out of the north side of Chicago, Illinois. Hello everybody, alongside broadcast colleague today, Ryan Reitz, former player and coach. I'm Peter Ferreri. Let's look through the starting lineups for the Carthage College Firebirds. Again, some familiar names and some new names that you're going to see in front of you this evening. Joey Kolwitz, one of the serve specialists, getting the start. Ethan Sprague in the middle. The Iceman, Ben Heiss, off to the opposite side. Bartzier outside. Stover outside. The true freshman, Cooper Cantwell, is going to be in the middle blocking position. And the secondary libero, Devin O'Callahan, is going to get the start at libero. Ryan, talk me through this. You got some familiar faces, but again, true freshman in the middle, secondary libero in. How hard is it to adjust when you're used to the same lineup all season, showing some differences midway through conference play?
You know, as a player and a coach, you want to mix people in a decent amount, even in practices and everything. So these guys that are getting more playing time that are starting today, this is their opportunity. You know, I wasn't always a starter.
Yeah.
And once you get that opportunity to start, you show what you got, and, you know, maybe they get more playing time from in turn of that.
We thank you all for being with us this Wednesday evening, Game 3 of the triple-header men's lacrosse. Victorious earlier today. Women's lacrosse in action, concluding there shortly. We'll keep you afloat on that score, and this game about to be underway. Left to right are going to be the Firebirds of Carthage, the home whites, red numbers and letters, black trim, and the visiting Vikings in the royal blues with white numbers and letters and the Viking crest on the chest. We have, again, a unique lineup. We're going to see Cantwell get the start in the middle blocking position. O'Callahan's going to be on the back end. Some players not suited up. But again, one thing Coach Kiekefer says, Ryan, and you can expound on it, he goes, you don't have depth if you can't use it. This is showing, and this will show today, I should say, how much depth truly does this Firebirds team have.
No, that's very true. And, you know, as a perennial powerhouse, they need to have that depth to go on and to repeat, or not repeat, but to be national champions again.
Yeah.
They were back-to-back just a few years ago, 21-22. So, you know, that depth, as long as that's there, you have that confidence in your bench then to come in and fulfill one of the starter spots without skipping a beat.
As for the Vikings, Ryan, I know you had a successful career playing and coaching. We'll expound more on it. Not the output that North Park has wanted, but still you got to just hit that reset button each and every game and say tomorrow is a new game, and you have a chance of all chances to upset the number 3 team in the nation. More on that as we come. Hit from the outside. Was there a touch? The answer is no, and the Birds get the first point. And we talk about the opportunity, again, each and every day. And one thing I love about volleyball, you and I have discussed it for years off the air. Each and every set resets at zeros. Each and every game resets at zeros. And that's one point of contention for the Firebirds this year, Ryan. Sometimes they get a bit over-aggressive at the service line and can really benefit the opposing team.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you have those missed serves, and it can really get the opposing team on a nice roll there. And these guys being the underdog, you know, this is their opportunity to get a couple points in a row here, and if they build that confidence, you never know what could happen.
The back set left hand over the top by Heiss. Far side, playable for the setter, punched over at the last moment by Dragon out of Lakeview High School. A lot of Chicago products. Left hand over the top, not much going for John Sampson out of Texas. Some familiar high schools of Romeoville, Naz Academy, Lincoln Way East, Walter Christian of Irwin, Trinity Oaks out of Cary, Illinois, Niles North out of Skokie. A lot of local products for North Park and a lot of international students, so a good mixture for this growing North Park program. From the 10-foot line, looks for the left, sends it on a line. Another point for the Vikings. Ryan, when you see, let's talk about North Park, you see a lefty coming in from Ben Heiss. What is it like seeing it from a different trajectory?
You know, there's so many different righties. You know, the majority that I played are righties, and the lefties really bring a different aspect to it. So it does, you have to adjust your game a bit with just where the ball's coming from, you know, especially when he's swinging, when he's hitting as well. It's just coming from a different angle, and you have to be aware.
It's a 15-0 all-time record, as Carthage has never lost to North Park. Last time these two teams met, it was a sweep last February the 25th, so just a few weeks ago. North Park got to 19, but that was the highest output they had. Double block, out of play, so another point for the Vikings. On the flip side, let's talk about this, Ryan. 2-point lead for North Park. You're Carthage, you got some of your depth players starting, but you're also coming up a very challenging road loss against Loris, who you swept just a few weeks ago here in Kenosha. Let's talk about Carthage coming off a loss, and it's a rare thing when they lose this year. So what's their mental fortitude right now?
Yeah, I'm sure, you know, mentally it took a toll on them to lose that game. You know, they've had some closer games, so they just have to stay efficient like they've always have been. They rank the top in so many different categories. You have to get back to your game, get back to your basics, and control the games that they have.
Eric Stover with the left arm up out of Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. Alongside Cooper Cantwell, and 3-point lead now for North Park. Playable in the middle, Cantwell looks back row. Is there a touch? The answer, no. Vikings get another point and a 4-point lead early on for North Park. And I believe we're going to have our first challenge of the evening, and indeed, Coach Kiekefer going to call for a net violation, Ryan. So we will momentarily be joined in a new feature this year in the CCIW. We will be joined on the feed with the official to go play-by-play with what they're going through. So you'll be able to help expound to our viewers at home what you are seeing. And here we go. As they rewind, Ryan, by all means, what are they going to be looking for? The touch, the underneath. You'll talk us through it. But again, a new added element. And you and I talked about in the pregame when we were getting ready for the broadcast, a huge added element that we have this.
Yeah, I think the official review it's a great aspect. Wonderful that they're working it in at this level now. I would hope that it would go through all levels. Probably you won't see high school, but it can really change the momentum of a game when the right call is made. If they have to review it and we see that there was a net violation, that switches the momentum. They can just go forward with it there. So. We're seeing it right there. Looks like he is.
Yes. We're looking to see if a Viking.
That's close. I'm not.
It's hard to see from that R1 position if a foot went under, and that might be what they're looking for. Again, we are joined with the crew. They have the high view angle, the net cam, baseline. Baseline may not show what they're necessarily looking for. Let's go to the wide shot now and see what the official's looking for. Again, it was a fairly quick rally, so let's see here, Ryan, if there's, so they're looking for contact of either touching the net, a foot going underneath on the return, and I don't think we're going to see anything, but again, I have been wrong many times in life. My wife reminds me regularly. And the answer is going to be point stays with the Vikings, and with the point down, inconclusive. And Ryan, just to share sentiments, I feel that's the right call.
I do too. There was nothing overpowering there to show that there was a net violation or a touch.
Four-point lead for the visiting Vikings. Some may say an unsuspecting start, but they're going full throttle to try to dethrone one of the top teams in the nation. And that's how you answer back. Ryan Bartz doing the Bartz man. Back to within 3.
Great pass, great set, great attack.
And Joe Kolwitz now, one of the top serve specialists in the conference, getting the start today at the center position. The left-hand server out of play. Always tough, Ryan, when you're coming off a good outside hitting kill and you want to be aggressive at the service line, but push it a bit far. Were you a float serve, top spin?
I was top spin.
Okay.
It was many, many years ago, and it was not seen too much. So, I was a very aggressive server, and some did end up in the net. So you don't want to just lob it over. You need to try to attack as much as you can off that serve. So you can expect some net violations here and there.
Lead of 5 for the Vikings. O'Callahan, a foot and a half inside the end line. Pass right ahead by O'Callahan, left hand down. And a good kill is Ben Heiss, also known as the Big Bird. Did you have any volleyball nicknames?
Well, my last name is Reitz, and my coach, Dan Dwyer, always took the E out and called me Ritzy.
Okay.
Baldy was another one as well.
Bartz looks back row. Near pin, blocked down. Cantwell, the true freshman out of Wauwatosa, played for Marquette University High. Ryan, what a block.
Yeah, they close that right up, and if they can have that block there, they'll shut down that attack every time.
Bartz looks back row. Through the rafters, no contact. Playable. If it hits the rafters, has to stay on the same side. Did in that circumstance. Kolwitz back for Heiss. Running up on it. Good pickup by the libero. O'Callahan now. Near pin. Heiss looks far side. Is it in? Is it out? And Coach Kiekefer kind of shrugs his hands. Looks like he doesn't quite like where he went with the trajectory potentially.
It's a good thought. Nice cut shot. Just missed by a couple inches there.
Zach Hayden, the libero out of South Bend, Indiana. Serve down the line. Kolwitz looks left side. Huge tool all the way out of play by Eric Stover out of Lake Villa, Illinois. And now in comes one of the serve specialists, Ryan Kelly, alongside Ryan Reitz. Ritzy, what's it like to be coming off the bench cold and know, hey, now's my time?
You know, early in my career, that was my main role as a freshman, was coming off the bench to be that big server, you know. So you got to be ready at all times, stay loose, and not think about not think about the pressure, and just get that serve in aggressively into an open spot.
So the clapping continues. Head coach for North Park, Brittany Welch, her second season. Former All-State athlete in her own right during her playing career. More unique to see that's going to go out of play. So just like that, Carthage starting to creep back into it.
Serve receives such a big part of the game, you know. It can really affect scoring, obviously, since every play is a point. And if you get on a roll, it can take it over.
Tip over the net. Up, Heiss, Kolwitz.
Oh,
the two-hand. Ryan, that was a thing of beauty. The second touch by Kolwitz. And you mentioned, you know, when we talk about over the scope of volleyball, women's game, men's game, some of the changes. Years ago, that might have been a point for the Vikings. But the offense has opened up of late, and that adds to it. So it's off the rafters, deflects back, and Ryan, back at your brother Rice days, did any hit off the ceiling?
Oh, yeah.
How hard is it to play it off of that, though?
You know, and our main gym was a much higher gym, so we didn't have too many issues there. But the smaller gyms with the lower ceilings, it's a pinball machine. It's bouncing around all over the place. You really got to follow it. I would run practices where we threw the ball up in there just to have the guys follow and practice as much as they could.
Yeah. Kolwitz, the quick one, bringing the pain, the thunder. Ethan Sprague delivering the junior, and we're tied at 10 with a run by the Birds.
Setter definitely the quarterback of your team, and he's running the show out there, finding the right guys to deliver.
And a service error by Ben Heiss. Substitution, Trey Phillips out of Austin, Texas, makes his way back to the bench, and to serve is Gino Hamoy out of Skokie. 180-pound, 6-foot freshman. The overpass, Kolwitz goes for the joust, playable. Kolwitz looks for the kill, why not? When your setter can get the set and deliver on the left side, how hard is it, Ryan, to not only coach your setter to set, but then be available and ready to hit as well?
They got their volleyball IQ has to be up there, because they have to watch everything at all times. They got to know where that serve's going, the pass is coming, and you know where they have to be on defense as well, so they can get up and block there as well. So setter is an integral part of the game, obviously, and if you have a good setter, that's just as having a great quarterback.
Opportunity now, Eric Stover. Top spin, picked up by Hayden. Huge back set, couldn't time it properly, number 15, Isaac Vroom out of Frankfort, Illinois. Carthage now with a nice little run, up 13-11.
See, he went to Lincoln Way East, Power in Illinois, so coming from a good program there, but a little off on that play.
Out of play it goes, and again, Ryan, we speak about it's the serve receive. You know, you give some, you lose some. But Coach Kuikefer always says, I want him to always be aggressive.
Yes, definitely. Just have to not have too many service errors. It can change that momentum up, and you don't want that.
Well, a few games ago, they had 23 service errors. Heiss thought there was a touch, and it is. So the R2 overrules the line and says touch. That favored the Birds. They're back up by 2. It's always got to be a good feeling when you feel you had it and the R2 verifies and overrules.
Definitely. Nice float. Nobody there.
And that's challenging, as we saw Michael Yem in the game, the pride of the dirty south of St. Louis, Missouri. You might be his future best friend, future accountant, so or IT specialist, still undetermined. I'm like, well, I know a guy that knows IT. So, but with that being said, 3-point lead for Carthage now. They've had a nice turnaround since trailing by as many as 5. Back row, the pickup. Quiet evening so far by our player to watch, and that's going to be a point for the Vikings. But Buchanan Milana, a quiet evening thus far for him.
Definitely. Hopefully see if he gets going here. They're going to feed him a lot, but if they can't get their offense moving, then you never know.
Taking the time before the serve. John Sampson keeps it down, and almost doing the splits is Hamoy. 3-point lead for the Birds.
You know, very important to find that open spot. So many guys just want to pound the ball, bounce on the 10-foot line, but, you know, a tip to find that open spot just as important, just at the same point as a massive kill.
And a stoppage to tie a shoe. Again, thank you for being with us on the CCIW Network. Give you an update on the women's lacrosse game. 17-2 is their lead right now, so running clock going into the 4th against MSOE. Or actually against UW Stevens Point, my apologies. Stat broadcast didn't update the school, but 17-2 the lead. And that women's lacrosse program, talk me through this, Ryan, is, you know, again, playing, coaching. It is important, I feel, that if you have other successful programs to kind of feed off of one another.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, just even it starts even in grade school, you know, from some of the Catholic schools that then they feed right into the high schools, as well as the public schools. And then if the kids start playing club as well, it's a whole feeder system. And Carthage obviously has that with the back-to-back titles, and, you know, I believe they were runner-ups 3 years, 05, 07, and 12. So they have that depth of the program, the strength of the program, and if you have a strong feeder system, it makes all the difference.
Kolwitz looks left side. Heiss tips over the top.
And on an ankle.
And, I mean, they're going to rule in favor of the Birds, but the Vikings weren't quite happy with the palming of sort. But again, with, like you said, the lift and the change of the game, that's kind of the story. You're allowed to do so. Bartz. The Ball State transfer gets the ace. Oh, he split the uprights, Ryan. A timeout called by North Park. Will stay here. This timeout brought to you by Carthage Admissions. Take the next step in your educational journey with Carthage College. The admissions process is simple. Whether you're an undergraduate, transfer, graduate, or international student, visit carthage.edu/apply for details or contact our admissions team. 800-351-4058 or admissions@carthage.edu. We look forward to welcoming you to the Firebird family. Brian Reitz, Peter Ferreri, 4-point lead for the Birds, 2 away from the red zone. Brian, let's talk about Carthage. What did they do differently as we rolled through some replays from the beginning of this contest, and they really put things into another gear?
I think just taking control. I think the guys that are newer to the starting lineup here just needed to get those pregame jitters out, and it seems like they've gotten things under control now. Controlling the passes, finding that open spot on serving. You know, the block has been up there. They're really clicking on all cylinders right now, and obviously it's taking control of the game back over there. So I think they're in a good spot right now and just need to push through, and game 1 finishes in their future.
Yeah. On the flip side, if you're North Park right now, you had the lead, you're just trying to find your way back into this set.
Yeah, definitely. Only being 4 points down, you never know. Quick turnaround, they can take control back, so you got to stay on your toes and finish strong here.
Bartz at the service line, the D1 transfer. Said was looking for a more well-rounded experience. He's going to finish his collegiate career. The sun rises, the sun sets, and a coach's point for North Park. That never happened to you, though, right?
Oh,
Ryan?
never. I think out of that timeout, I always took a little bit off on that first one and then went full throttle on the second one. Just don't get iced.
Don't get and it happens so frequently. But North Park back to within 3. Kolwitz looks back for Heiss off the triple. Nice up O'Callahan. Missed time on the far side, couldn't switch the hand. Stover couldn't get to it. And a nice little 2-point run now for the Vikings. That's just what they needed out of that timeout. Again, we were speaking about head coach Brittany Welch, her second season. She was an assistant for both the women's and men's team. Now the head coach. And not to show my age of familiarity, but when I used to be the executive director for the Illinois High School All-Star Game Committee and was the chairman, the final year that game existed, she was one of the starting players out of Resurrection College Prep and now is a head coach. It's such a great story to see. And what a joust. Won by Cantwell. Talk to me, Ryan. Again, you have much more height than I do. I was back row my whole career. What's it like mentally getting ready knowing a joust is coming at hand?
Oh, I always fed off it. It got you going because you just wanted to get up there and you wanted to take control at the net. You wanted to take control, power it over, and you win that point, it's just as good as, a massive kill, So you go up there, but you got to be alert and not fall into the net, not touch the net, and just take control and try to power it over.
Three-point lead now for Carthage, and it looks like they're having a conversation, the athletic trainer with Gino Hamoy, so we'll see what transpires. Nonetheless, Carthage able to get to the red zone first, so the serve specialist, Ryan Kelly, continues along. A lot of Ryans today. Ryan Kelly, Ryan Monahan, Ryan Bartz, Ryan Morey. The back set for Heiss. What a set. Talk to me through the set selection of Kolwitz today.
He's dispersing it very well right now. I've seen some quick, low sets. He's going to his outside. He's using his right side. He's really using, and he himself has taken some over. A nice variety. He's showing a lot of different areas, and that just opens up the court that much more because they don't know who to go to. He's not going to one guy right now. Yeah. He's using every player and every part of the court. So really well-rounded game and using his hitters well.
While we have a moment, let's thank the Badger Bus. For over a century, Badger Bus has provided safe and reliable transportation between Wisconsin and Minnesota, whether for work, school, or a big game. Badger Bus ensures comfortable travel with daily routes, charter services, onboard Wi-Fi, and professional drivers. Experience why generations trust the red and white buses. Learn more at badgerbus.com and book your next trip today. 21-16 your score. It's been a nice run for the Carthage College Firebirds. They are hitting .292, Ryan, to only .063 for North Park. But again, 3 aces for the Birds, 5 errors. So that's that give and take we talk about. But again, when you're out hitting your opponent by almost 200 points, you can afford to be aggressive at the service line.
Yeah, I see with Carthage, they're top in the conference in hitting percentage, and the kill to set is top 10 nationally. They have an elite defense. They're just such a well-rounded game, and a reason why they're one of the top teams at all time.
Yeah. 2 national championship banners hang in the rafters. Some have said this could be the year that there's a good chance for number 3. They lost All-American Owen Otto in the preseason, but they have utilized that depth, and they're showing it here today. Out of play, tip called, no tip. Not sure if we're going to have a challenge or not. Doesn't look like Coach Welch is going to pull the green card out, and with that being said, 3 more points for the Birds to take set number 1. Kelly switches from the float to the top spin. Back set, out of play. Another point for the Birds. North Park having their swings, Ryan, just not the location they want.
Yeah, definitely. And back row attacks are a great aspect of the game. It throws off the blockers because you think your outside or your right side's coming or the middle. And when it comes from the back row like that, these guys have such great verticals that, they land in the front row. But, nice attempt, just didn't execute completely.
From the big, oh, Nelly. Pain personified. Justin Ishii out of Germantown. We're at set 1 point. Ryan Kelly to try to finish off set number 1 in a comeback effort. The overpass, setting up the attack. Kolwitz over the middle. And Maciejewski, the middle blocker from Schaumburg, says, say my name. And 25-16 the final. Ryan, what an ending in set 1 for the Birds.
They really turned it around there after a slow start, and the non-starters that started today have really stepped up, made it look pretty easy out there. So nice first game, 25-16. They took control, kept control throughout that.
We'll take a timeout. When we come back, set 2 action on the CCIW Network. And welcome back to the CCIW Network's coverage of NCAA men's volleyball. North Park starts off with a service error on the first serve of set number 2 after the Firebirds came roaring back after trailing by as many as 5 in set number 1. Ryan Reitz, Peter Ferreri, 1-0 the start for the Birds. Picking up more or less where they left off. Cantwell. Nice back set to keep the rally going. Can the Birds capitalize? Yes, they can. Tool it near side. Bust out the chainsaw. Carthage finding the tool. And Ryan, let's talk offensively. When you're looking for the tool, you see the double block coming in front. You're coming on the opposite side. What's kind of the look you're looking for?
You know, especially at high school, it's such a key thing to learn because you can swing as hard as you want, but if the block's there, it's going to come back down. So, you know, you really want to go and look and see where the hand placement is and go off the outside of that hand so it comes right off the hand, right out of bounds.
And Ethan Sprague delivering from the middle, a 3-0 start. And not to say things were rocky at the beginning of set number 1, but you didn't quite know what to expect. Saying a lot of names of players we haven't of late. They found their groove, a service error by Cantwell, but nonetheless, good start. If you're North Park right now, serving number 15, Isaac Vroom, gotta try to keep the composure of the team. I don't want to say you're playing with house money to sound cliche, but you know there's still, and I say this in an optimistic manner, as that's going to be a service ace off the top, but top 4 teams make the postseason in terms of the CCIW tournament. Yes, you're 0-6, but you're still early enough. You string a few along, maybe not here today per se, but you get some confidence today to string along. You can find yourself in the tournament play, but Carthage now really firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and for North Park, you know, I think they just need to find that rhythm. It seems like they have a nice mixture of players from local as well as you said international, you know, and just trying to start that program and get it to a level where they can, you know, make the playoffs every year. You know, they're just need to get there with the team, and it looks like they've got a nice foundation.
Yeah. And a net violation called, and that is going to be, I believe, against number 22, Jan Dragan. Nonetheless, served by Heiss. Back set, looking back row. Good swing by Josiah Walker, couldn't deliver. And another point for the Vikings.
Great pass by Carthage there. The setter did not even have to move an inch. You know, it's always nice when you're a setter and the passes are right on target. You can really run an efficient offense.
The senior out of Wiley High School, John Sampson. I always like to say, not only am I jealous of how much hair he has, but he's fitting to the Sampson name. And that top spin looks back row, O'Callahan. Kolwitz looks near pin. Decoy averted. The uppercut punch, huge dig. And they're saying 4 hits, Ryan. Not quite sure if it's gonna be challenged or not.
Yep.
Thought it might have cleared, but.
She's questioning.
Surprised they're not challenging it early on?
Yeah,
or?
yeah. That early in the game, it might be smart to use one, and I mean, it would be 5-4 game turned around, but.
It's off the tape.
Oh.
Not able to get there. It's so tough. The tape ace, Ryan, it just hits it. It slows it down to a crawl, drops down. Did you ever practice aiming for the tape for your serves?
I would get a step box and be on top of it and hit it, try to hit it off the top of the tape, but I mean, it's no consistency. It goes where it wants to.
And just like that, point returned, service error. I've known many high school coaches in Illinois, at least, that, you know, coach, does your team really practice the tape ace? And then they're like, no, never. And then they give you a wink. Did Brother Ickes ever try to train the tape ace?
He, you know, we were starting out. My freshman year was the first year Brother Ice ever had a program. So we had our bumps and bruises in those first couple of years, but by, you know, senior year, a lot of guys were playing club. We were learning a lot at Rice and in the different clubs that we played for. But it's come a long way since 1992.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Maybe I shouldn't have said my
No,
year.
that's okay. Hey. It's all the trends right now. What were you like in the 90s?
Right. Side out scoring.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, right at the net. What a play by Joe Kolwitz. He can serve, he can set, he can kill, he can block. And Yem back at the line, looking to put a little Provel cheese on this serve. Floats it at the net. From the Bick, looked for the rollover. Not able to get a full handle on it is Milana out of Guam, and it is a 6-point lead and a timeout by North Park. I think they couldn't let it get much further, though, Ryan.
No, you got to use that timeout, try to break up the momentum and come out of the timeout. Hopefully, they're wanting to break the serve and get the ball back in their hands.
While we have a minute, let's thank the Stella Hotel and Ballroom. Make the Stella Hotel and Ballroom your home away from home. As a proud supporter of Carthage College, the Stella Hotel and Ballroom is honored to celebrate our college and local community. Visit online at stellahotelkenosha.com or call 262-842-2000. Crunching the numbers, North Park dropping now negative 200, Carthage at 363. In terms of the digs, though, again, we spoke about the digs category. North Park out digging Carthage 8-7. But looking overall, if you're North Park, again, what's the mindset in the huddle right now to try to come back, maybe get a coach's point, get some momentum to maybe come back in this set?
Yeah, they just get a good pass, run their offense here, and try to establish their game. They can get it if they can get a couple points here in a row and get back into it. That's sometimes all you need is to break that serve receive and get rolling.
Good old Bro Ickes. He was president for years of the Illinois High School Coaches Association. Worked with him many years. He is truly one of the greatest proponents of this sport. Floorboard breaking. Eric Stover took that hot one off the stove top and delivered. 11-4. Yem continues. By the way, have you ever had Provel cheese?
I don't think so.
No, have you ever heard of Provel cheese?
Provolone, not Provel.
Oh, Provel, got to get you some.
Yeah.
If you are the Michael Yem family or the Boston family, my guy Ryan eats some Provel. So it is a mix of like provolone and mozzarella.
Oh, no kidding.
And it's called Provel. It's one of my favorite delicacies. Out of St. Louis, originated there. Left hand. Read it. Kept it in. The pinball wizard, and everything's coming up roses for the Birds.
And it's a great option. I played against some lefty setters, and that's an advantage that they have is you don't see that shoulder because the left hand is back there, and they can just turn and burn on it. And a lot of times they get the point, but Carthage was ready and waiting for it and took care of it with the block.
Yem, again. He's got that nice teardrop serve, falls right after the line. And finally, the rally is stopped by a tool for the Vikings, and saying the name of Bahena Milana, able to come through from Guam. Did you ever have any international students or play with anybody or coach anybody internationally?
Not really. South side of Chicago is pretty cookie cutter with what we had there, but it would be interesting. I'm sure there's some different styles of play that they can bring to the game too. Sure.
And that's going to be net. And they're calling it against the Vikings. I thought that was against Carthage. Are we going to have a challenge here? Coach Welch.
On North Park
No, they're not disputing it. Again, by our vantage point up here in the perch.
That's what I saw too.
Yeah, I love the vantage point because you really see everything, but sometimes those really close calls. Swiping off the rafters, off the speakers, out of play. Carthage, another one. To quote DJ Khaled, it's a 10-point lead for the Birds. it's sometimes, Ryan, I'll have people say, well, I watched the broadcast and I'm surprised they couldn't run to get it. It just went behind them. It just went to their left. And I said, just imagine, standing still, looking up and at your ceiling that has bars and posts, throwing it as hard as you can and seeing which way it goes.
That's what we did a lot of times. You never knew where it would end up.
Well, and especially in opposing gyms, not even just your
Sure.
home facility, but you're on the road for half of your games in the postseason, all the more challenging. Again, Tarble Arena, a great multi-purpose arena, but still it can still hit the ceiling as we see. Overpass, free ball opportunity. Can the Birds capitalize? Kolwitz, big kill. Playable near side, miscommunication, nobody there. O'Callahan on the spot. The rollover, longest rally of the evening, and that's going to hit the pin.
The efficiency of Carthage is really, that's a big difference maker right now. They are just,
Yeah.
spot on all their attacks, on their passing, they're really letting them control this game.
And I don't know if this is it's not a challenge. I believe we may have a timeout called. Didn't see it registered, but it looks like they're in position. With that said, I'm thirsty, and so you should be. Pepsi. Nothing beats the crisp, refreshing taste of Pepsi. Whether you're cheering from the stands, hanging out with friends, or enjoying a night out, Pepsi is there for the love of it. This iconic cola celebrates everything you love, from music and sports to everyday moments. So crack open a cold Pepsi and raise it high, because life's better when you go all in. For the love of it. Pepsi, for the love of it. 10-point lead for the Birds, 16-6 on the CCIW network. Ryan Reitz, Peter Ferreri. Ryan, what have you liked about what Carthage has done specifically in this set? They have not taken their foot off the gas. They're continuing, like you said, they're in the right spot. The passes they're efficient. And again, you may say to yourself, well, these aren't necessarily your, usual starters, but nonetheless, it just shows likely what happens in the gym just playing chess.
Definitely.
I know your family's a big chess team, so I was waiting to get in there.
Definitely. Just the whole next guy up. You just have to step in and fill that spot as best you can. And these guys, they got to be ready for it. And with a program this deep, they're stepping up and showing that they're able to do that.
In the game now, number 15, Carter Gibbons, the freshman out of Roselle, Illinois. Also, number 5, got the final point for set 1, Adrian Mashievsky. Look for the second touch. Oh, that's the best second touch of the game. Hamoy, touch to kill. That's one of those that play that years ago, a little bit more rare. Now, you want your setter to be available and ready to do that.
Definitely.
Served by Hamoy. The back set, down the line, because you're mine, I walk the line. 17-7, and the big man comes up with another kill.
Physically saw him turn his head, saw the open spot, and put it right there.
In the contest now is Xavier Willette out of Glendale Heights, Illinois. And coming in to serve, number 21, Devin McCray, your outside hitting freshman out of New Berlin. And again, getting the freshmen involved. These are live rounds in conference play. A little bit of miscommunication by the Vikings. Set over the middle, poked through. Are they calling net? And they are. So in this circumstance, Coach Brittany Welch is saying she does not believe the touch was a hand. I believe potentially touch was a ball. We will go to the official review.
From here, it did look to me like 12 hit the net.
Okay.
He reached there, but we'll see.
18-7, your score. What I will like to say is, we mentioned a few weeks ago similar story against St. Norbert, but we'll get there momentarily. And I'll Ryan to break down what is seen. But if you're the Birds, you like to see No matter who's on the court, can we finish strong? Anything, it's so hard, right?
Yeah, a lot of rewinding it there, and it looks, oh, kind of jumps right at that. Harder to see on the replay, actually, on this one. I thought Jonah had hit the net on that with his hand on the follow through, but maybe not.
Well, another thing, Ryan, again, for those watching at home, it has to be it has to be conclusive evidence. If it's the quote bang bang, call will stand. The answer, Birds. And without the point down, they are saying, based on the review, it indeed was a net touch. Officials today, Isabella Gianau, your R1, James Arch, your R2 on the replay, Glenn Nielsen and Darren McRoy are the lines. To the Bic. Point for Carthage. Sailing in is Nolan Edkin out of Moline, Illinois, to no avail. Birds one away from the red zone. Serving yet again McRae. Service error. Now, what I was always told, and you can agree or not, but if you're a serve specialist, if you go 1 for 2, you did a good job.
Kind of washes out each other, you know,
Yeah.
so you definitely want, you know, more service points than service errors, but I always wanted my guys to go either short in zone 2, 3, or 4, or go deep, because that back line, nobody's all the way at the back line. So if you can control it to get it to short or deep spots, it's going to make it that much harder on the offense.
Oh, the back set. What a set, and that goes 2 rows into the stands. Yet again, Ryan, we are at a setting clinic in Carthage. What did he do so successful?
Just complete control of where he wants it to be, and just these guys are, you always want a setter that feeds you exactly where you want it, and these guys are putting it away every time.
Left side.
Oh.
When your setter can block, it's a lethal combination. Because here's the other thing, Ryan. It's not as if your setters are necessarily getting so many reps at the outside, so many reps in blocking positions at the pin, isolated.
Right.
Wow. What a fun one to watch. Left side going back row. Scoping it down, Stover. Double block, swipe up O'Callahan. Kolwitz goes near side again. Can the Vikings capitalize? O'Callahan off the rafters. It stayed on the same side. It's playable. Kolwitz. Far side, O'Callahan. High, back set. Longest rally of the set. It's set number 2. Did it stay in? It went out. And a tool kill, bust out the hammer and nails for Josiah Walker. I had to use hammer and nails today, Ryan. I felt very useful at home. My wife looked at me like, what are you doing? I said, I'm hammering and nailing things. What? Clearly. And a nice ace. Waiting for that. At some point, Bohannon Milana.
Blocking such a huge part of the game. You know, he had that solo block over there. And I remember one of the years at Rice, they had such a solid block. They had Southside Roofing Company shirts made up.
I love it.
Ooh.
Oh, the turn
Nice
over
look.
the top. So in that point, the second touch, again, rinse and repeat, Joe Kolwitz, second touch kill.
You know, that move is so effective when they don't overuse it, and he's used it, I think, once in each match, in each game so far, and really effective, because they're not ready for it. There's no block up there, and it's just going right down. So great use of it by him.
Do you still have that T-shirt?
I think I was coaching at the time.
Okay. I mean, they may have gotten you one. I had all my high school shirts made in one of those throw blankets.
No, okay. I still have a warm-up that was more like a snowsuit.
Okay. Justin Ishii off the tape. Why not? If you had another tape ace on the bingo card, you would be right in the game as well. Number 7, Ali Sharnick, the freshman out of Glendale, Wisconsin, as well as Ermoon Bachloon out of Naperville, Illinois. Pass to the left side, triple block, powers through the block of Xavier Willette and co. And right now, just to reiterate, Ryan, North Park is having their chances. It's just the walls are there, the blocks are there, the serves are there.
Just overpowered at this point.
Set over the middle, and a kill. Xavier Willette delivering.
Carthage is using all parts of the court, you know.
10th kill of the season for Willette, and we are at set 2 point. An opportunity now for number 22 to deliver. A dominating performance in set 2. Up by Hayden. Left pin. Recycled for the Vikings. From the Bick. Willette kept it alive. Does it clear the pin? It might have. On the slide, don't see that often. Poked over with the right hand. Good net presence by Hamoy to keep North Park alive.
You're exactly right. You do not see the slide very often, but I think it's a very effective move because they got to move with the hitter, you know. Move with the attack. What was the call here?
So they are saying that the point went to Carthage and they're switching sides. Ryan, how about this? We'll take a timeout. We'll get an explanation. 25-11 is how the set's going to end. We'll have an explanation when we come back on the CCIW network.
At this time, Carthage President John Swallow will present Coach Lindsley with a commemorative plaque in recognition of this outstanding achievement. Congratulations to the Firebirds on a successful trip and to Coach Lindsley on this milestone moment.
Set 3 about to get started on the CCIW network. We have a final from Art Keller Field, 19-3. The Carthage College Firebirds have a victory against UW Stevens Point. And as mentioned earlier, the Firebirds for women's lacrosse, similar to this team, Ryan, and again, if anybody wants to tune in, go watch the replay, follow along. A very junior and senior heavy team, been around the block and ace to start things out for Carthage. And the reason I say it, it's at that point now for them, similar we feel here, stars are aligning. They got a new goalie that came in doing an outstanding job. They have a three-headed monster on the attack. Defense is not quite sure where to go. Similar to what we see with Carthage men's volleyball, when you have your setters that can hit, when you got your outsides that can hit, when you got your outsides that can serve, I mean, you don't know. Answer me this then, as it's 1-1 here on the CCIW network. How do you commit to what you're going to stop when you have such a diverse attack for Carthage?
I mean, all part of the game plan, but it's hard to stop one area because then they'll focus on the next. A team as deep as Carthage can really, target any aspect of the game that they feel is weak, and they're clicking on all cylinders right now. So you can try to stop the service game, but as you looked up there, they have 6 blocks this game. Those all turn to points, and it changes the momentum, and they take control.
High set to the near side. Out of play. Line just shuffles away. Point for Carthage.
Looks like maybe a challenge.
And we do, early on. Ryan, you called it right away, so it was a bang-bang, as they all are, but there's a chance for this. What did you see in real time that thought it might happen?
I mean, from here, I was putting my hands up for it being out. It looked like it was a couple inches out, right past that end line, right before that little hash mark, right in between those 2 spots. But to me, from here, it definitely looked out.
Here's the official review.
Yeah, I mean, from that angle, it's hard to see the corner there, but I think,
Yeah, it looked like it hit the floating hash and not the end line.
Yep.
And again, usually speaking, if it hits the regular line, let's look from this vantage point. So indeed, we have executive producer Sam Boyle that confirmed it is the challenge of in versus out. In other arenas, a lot of times the broadcasters are courtside and get the hand signal for what the review is. For safety measures, they put us up here in the rafters, but we get that bird's eye view. Ryan, not seeing anything that's going to change your opinion on that.
I think the ball was out.
Because it's any touch, any part of the line.
Huh?
It stays in. And I like to say, Ryan, that's why I'm paid to talk. And I'm not paid to be on the replay crew.
Interesting
Well,
call, but
we saw from the baseline view, it looked like it hit the hash, but the tail end of it on the way down could have caught that end line.
very true.
So
Not an easy job.
no. A missed time down the line. 4 hits going to be called, and North Park on a little bit of a run.
Over the years, especially tournaments, as all the coaches and players know, you have to step in, and the players and coaches have to up official, down official, and line judge, and it's not an easy job.
Oh.
Spotlight's on you only when you mess up.
So I always give a shout out to one of my favorite coaches, Ray Gooden. He's the head coach for North Central College Cardinals for the women's game. Former player in his own right, former coach at Northern Illinois.
Yep.
Nice roof. For all of your roofing needs, call Justin Ishii and Associates. But point being, in the off season for coaching fall women's, he coordinates officiating for fun. I mean, why not? And then also jumps on the broadcast at times. And so he always says, I'll coordinate the officials. I don't necessarily want to be up there. Point for North Park. Few errors for Carthage, but again, if you're North Park, I'm not saying you're not earning. You are forcing Carthage into those errors and taking advantage of it in the score column. To the left pin, high up. Miscommunication in the back row.
That's so key to establish, even
Yeah.
you know, at the lowest levels, just to always be talking, always be yelling, so your teammates know where you're at.
Ishii now. 4 kills, 2 aces, a dig, and a partridge in a pear tree for what he's done in this run. Ooh. Running up on the missed time. Ryan, talk to me through this. So we had a miscommunication in the back row on the prior play. This one seeming a miscommunication on the pass. Is it the rotation they're in right now? What are you seeing now 2 points in a row?
It could be. I mean, it could be the rotation. Could be guys that just maybe they haven't gotten as much playing time either. You never know. But it's just the communication from the setter. He should be telling his hitters what he's setting them. You know what they're going to run on before each serve. You know, so they should have an idea. And it looked like he was just trying to do a soft little set over the net, trying to catch him off guard, but couldn't clear the net on that one.
Kevin Mattelby in the game, setting out a freshman at Mount Vista, Colorado. Also in number 13, Sebastian Rivera Azurdia out of Berwyn. I'll be at Berwyn next Tuesday. Good story. From the Bick. Set at the top, hits off the lights and stays in. Milana pulled the arms back, thought it was going out of play, fell in, I should say. Ryan, talk me through how hard is it, or what was your mindset playing, and then what did you coach your players? When you're at that back line, you go for it, you don't go for it, where do you put the hands?
You know, you really got to know where the ball's at and what, trajectory it's coming at. If somebody's just lobbing it over, nice serve there and an ace. And you have to know where it's at, and your teammates got to help you out as well. If you're not receiving that ball, you're yelling in and out so that somebody has a clue. But a lot of times, topspin serve, that ball's going to drop, and it could be looking like it's going to go out, and all of a sudden it drops at the free throw line.
And Ishii powers through. Did you ever have any players that ended up in the CCIW or at any of these schools?
Trying to think where some of the guys are. What
Not to put you on the spot. You mentioned Wesleyan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
My co-captain senior year, Adam Wojcik, he went to West Point Academy. I believe he played there. We've had a number of players from Rice go to international, played internationally. A lot of different colleges that they have played at over the years.
In that circumstance, Stover tries to get out of the way, and that falls into play. So clearly easier said than done about knowing what to do in the back row. I was always the player, again, my extremely tall 5'7" stature. If it was waist up, get out of the way. Recycled back. Kolwitz looks far side. Stover! Up by O'Callahan. Stover again, throttles back. Almost a joust. Over the middle. Running it down, Hayden. Kill attempt, back row, no go for Vroom. And Carthage back up by 3.
Even though volleyball was in its infancy to an extent back when I played, one of the cool things was when we played Naperville North in sports performance, Keith and Kevin Barnett played for them, and they ended up playing on the U.S. national team. So I always thought, I played against Olympians, so that was pretty neat to have that experience.
Good old Spry.
Yep. Machines there.
Michael Yem. Rick Butler, I believe, was the name of the gentleman who ran sports performance. Always thankful to him in the sense that when those years I hosted the state all-star game, he donated every year custom jerseys for each and every player that made all-state. So I give credit where it's due.
I've mentioned Rice a few times, but
Yeah,
I did
please.
coach a few years at Naperville Central as well, and Little shout out to my buddy Eric Keisling over there. He's taken over the men's and women's program there, I believe, now. So a lot of experience, but it was fun coaching for a couple of years there too. Saw the difference of a Naperville school versus a Chicago school as well.
Yeah. On the left side, off the left clavicle. Playing the back row. Jasso. And North Park gets the point. They're sticking around right now, Ryan. Again, minus the, if you take away those 2 communication errors earlier on in the set, it's a different set number 3.
Right there. Carthage has to stay focused and not let up on the gas.
Diving out of the way is Ishii. How was he able to do that? Was it he knew that when the rotation came, that was going to be his spot? Talk me through that back row, what you're doing on the serve receive.
I mean, you're really watching it, and like you said, if it's a certain height, I always told my players, if it's going to be within a couple inches of that back line, I want you playing it because you don't want to be the one standing there watching it fall in bounds,
Yeah.
But if it's above your shoulders, even above your chest height, and you're that far back, it's a good chance it's going to go out, and you just got to get out of the way.
Xavion Willett once more, one of the fan favorites for the Firebirds. 4-point lead for the Birds, trying for the sweep. Kolwitz rips it to the back row. On the slide. From the Bick.
Nice
O'Callahan. Pancake!
Oh.
But blocked back down. Good job right at the net. Giovanni Serafini out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Transfer from Calvin University. Has Will, your son, gotten the itch yet? Have you just subtly started, peppering on the outside when he gets home from school? Like, oh, just hanging out here, son.
He has. He's.
Okay.
I've been approached as well to coach the grade school team.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I said maybe 6th grade. We'll start. But yeah, he's doing some summer camps, some sport camps. So.
Okay, so it looks like a right thumb is going to get taped. Looked like it was jammed, or at first I thought it was a dislocation, and I just can't stomach dislocations. Back to serve. Taking his time before the approach. Matelby. The back set. Once again, the rip from the sophomore Stover. And not to keep praising how well of a staff that Carthage has in the future, J.W. Kiefer, but I want to say this, similar to your career path, Ryan, Matt Pilch, Zach McDonald, Omar Rivera, Cholowinski, Blake, these are all former players, primarily of Coach Kiefer, that now line up his bench as assistant coaches for the plethora of positions. What's that like to make that transition from player to coach?
It's such a great volleyball is just such a great sport in general. I never thought I would love it as much as I did, and to go from playing in high school to then coaching, it's in coaching with the coaches that coached me. And I had a respect for the refs already because they were refs when I was playing, so couldn't argue too many calls. But then coaching with your coaches and becoming friends with them and just developing the program even further, it's really rewarding. And you already know the system that he's running.
Yeah.
You can teach how to block and swing block and all different aspects of the game. The system that's ran, and you can help implement that even further.
Back set on the angle. Stover looks near side on the triple, out of play, coast to coast, and then some. Birds up by 5. Talk to me through what you see or like about this Carthage system.
Just they are hitting the spots. They are.
Okay.
I've said efficiency a few times, but so efficient. That was a triple block. I mean, he should. You would think a lot of guys would just roll the ball over the top, and but he knew how to use the block, and he tooled it right off and got the point. So it's just the volleyball IQ of a team like Carthage. Carthage is, it's excellent. They're executing everything to exactly how it should be. I mean, they're not leaving any open areas for North Park.
You can say the resiliency this team has shown in terms of a close loss in 5 against Loris few weeks ago. Talk me through the mental pressure for Carthage. Again, one of the top 10 ranked teams all season, spent a few weeks at number 1. You know, you say you don't look at it that much, but you know the players do, you know the coaches do, and that's you got the target on your back for the entire nation.
It definitely adds another pressure, and not like you said, it's not just conference; it's ranked number 1 in the nation. So it definitely adds that, you know, you're everyone's target. Every team is going to come out with their A game to try to knock you down. You know, and it's a lot of pressure for the team as well. But you know, for the most part, they've dealt with it pretty well and working through it, and really have control of this game here.
And the swipe kill by Ishii, and they are saying point for North Central. Not quite sure what the call was, but Coach Kiekefer not pulling out the challenge. Not quite sure what that sequence was, but and a service error is the call. So 17-13 your score. Surprised North Park hasn't utilized another timeout?
Yeah, I would say you get to 18-19, it definitely should be used.
Okay.
I would use it.
Way out of play. Another ace for the Birds. We may be getting close to some free cheese curds, folks. Stick around for that. Opportunity now for Ishii. The back set over the middle. Oh, laser shot for number 12, John Samsman. And 4-point lead for the Birds only, but again, those are the type of plays, Ryan, where you say to yourself, yes, they are winless in conference play, but the more of those you can string together, the more the confidence, nobody's stopping that.
Right, right. And they just have to build off that.
Into serve, Edkin. Left pin. Playable. Joust opportunity, second touch, but off the left hand of Stover. He gets it through and breaks on through to the other side. Birds one away from the red zone.
There's that timeout.
There indeed. We prognosticated it. While we have a moment, we talked about the cheese curds, and if you're hungry after the game, you know where you need to go? Culver's. Firebirds fans at every Carthage Athletic home event, you have the opportunity to win free Culver's coupons. Walk away with a tasty treat like free cheese curds or a scoop of delicious custard. Please note that these coupons are only valid at Culver's locations in Kenosha. Don't miss your chance to score big on and off the field. 19-14 your score as the season continues along here on the CCIW network as we look at what is up ahead for the Carthage College Firebirds. After today, we're halfway home. This Saturday, 3 o'clock, Augustana in town. The first next Wednesday on the road, North Central College, and then on the road again, Bloomington versus the Titans of Illinois Wesleyan, who sits number 2. And that could very well be the game that determines who is the home host of the postseason. So each and every game matters. You want to finish as strong as possible. And Eric, I don't want to say I like the chances, but if the Birds continue on this way, I like the chances. They'll at least be hoping, because top 2 seeds host the semifinals, and then top remaining seed host the championship.
May be incorrect on this, but I was talking to a friend of mine, and I believe Loris is playing Illinois Wesleyan tonight.
Well, you know what? That is a outstanding segue to go to the out-of-town scoreboard in the CCIW network. Michael Yem with the float serve. The pride of St. Louis, that one drops down. So the Banana Slugs of UC Santa Cruz are taking on North Central College, and it is Loris versus North Park on the 28th.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's all right. It's a good transition, though. It's like you've done this before. But again, Illinois Wesleyan. We'll have more on that. To the left, pin down. North Park back to within 3. They are not going easy into this good night. Okay, delayed on the serve. I wasn't sure what the hesitation was. Joust again, up Stover. Stover again, high off the triple, recycled. Once again, third time's the charm, but it goes out of play. Point going to the Vikings. North Park back to within 2.
You know, and as a program that's starting out like that, even if this game, ends in Carthage's favor, North Park, they can really build off this. They can take the good out of this match away, and like you said, they got to just keep on working, and in a year maybe so, they'll be up there in the playoffs hopefully for them.
Switching to the left hand, looks like a net. Indeed it was. Kind of saw it, and we have a timeout. The Vikings, Ryan, battled back to be within 1. So we were inching closer to a potential sweep, and North Park saying not so fast. What have you seen these past few points that have shown their perseverance?
They're staying steady with their game. I think Carthage was executing, and maybe they were seeing the end of the tunnel there and kind of let the gas off a bit, and maybe not executing as well as they could. But North Park has hit a few spots, and they've gotten a balanced attack on these last couple plays here and really gotten themselves back into the game. 1-point game here. The next point they could tie it up, and 6-6.
I stand corrected. Indeed, the game is already concluded, Ryan.
Oh.
That is why it was already off the official score bug. Illinois Wesleyan, a sweep of number 10 Loris at home. Wow. And that's where you say to yourself, if you're Illinois Wesleyan, don't look now. Just a few days ago, Loris beats Carthage in 5. But Loris now gets swept by Illinois Wesleyan. It is a battle right now in the CCIW. How about that? And so Saturday at North Central, next Wednesday at North Park, and it could very well come down to that Saturday, April the 4th game in Bloomington. Carthage, Illinois Wesleyan could be for that CCIW regular season title.
Tie ball game.
We are tied, speaking of this game, 19-19. What a run for the Vikings. Now the question is, because Coach Kiekefer just called a timeout at the 19-18 mark. Up by Ishii. Upside for Stover. The overpass. Joust. The waterfall for Xavier Willette. A much-needed point. First block for Willette.
And as a coach, as a former coach, it's a tough thing to see the unforced errors because it just lets that other team get right back into it. And sometimes it's not things the other team are doing, it's just unforced error. And it keeps them in the game, and you're getting close to the end of the game here. You can't have those errors at this point in the game.
And I don't want to necessarily say Achilles heel, but it's one of the things that we know. Carthage, they live by the serve, they die by the serve. Arguably the best team at the service line in the conference, but with that, it's the old Spider-Man phrase, with great power comes great responsibility. There is the power, but there's also the responsibility of not continually giving your opponent so many points.
Right. 10 service aces in the game, but they have had their fair share of service errors as well.
14 service errors. Oof. Out of play. Is there a touch? No, there isn't. Carthage, a little bit of a run. We might have a challenge, and she just, I love it. Coach Welch just gives a little hip point right to the card, and we're going to have another review. And at this, here's what I mentioned. We said it earlier in the game. At this point, why not?
Right.
Glorified timeout. But in addition to that, little bit of a close play, and Ryan, let's look through the review as we rewind here on the CCIW Network. As we wait for that to step up. Do have a note from our executive producer, Sam Boyle. There still was not an explanation of how the prior set ended. They just said, overrule, point Carthage. So now we're waiting to see if there was a touch.
She's looking for a touch. It's hard to see.
They're going to switch to the zoom cam. Now again, it's got to be conclusive evidence. It might be on that left hand. So again, what the officials have told me throughout the years, and here's one more view, Ryan, from the baseline view. This might be the answer.
Yeah, maybe that left hand.
Yeah. What the officials have told me is, one, you look to see a finger or a hand did something move. Second, they said what they use as a little trick is they pick a line on the ball, a blue line, a red line. Point's going to say with Carthage, inconclusive. And I think that was the right call.
Right.
And the reason I say that is the officials say they'll pick a blue line, watch after the hit, does it change trajectory? Because they said along with volleyball, you pick a red line, pick a white line. If it's going one direction and then even changes slightly, that means somebody touched it. Didn't see it there, inconclusive. Birds 3 away from the sweep.
Oh. Challenge worked eventually.
Yes, it did, and that's what happens. North Park back to within one. I want to remind everybody, stick around for the post-game show. We'll have J.W. Kiekefer up with us in the booth to talk about this contest and the final home stretch. Pinballs off the speakers. Ryan, I feel we've had more of that tonight than all season, and we are tied at 22. Timeout, Carthage. Let's see what they do to finish out, because again, and I'll have you expound on this in a minute, you don't want to send it to 4 if you don't have to send it to 4. Easier said than done because North Park has momentum, but who also has momentum? Lamakia Travel. Dreaming of a getaway? Let Lamakia Travel make it unforgettable. With over 9 decades of experience, the family-owned Kenosha agency offers customized vacations, cruises, and tours worldwide. For tropical escapes to European adventures, their expert agents handle flights, hotels, and excursions for a stress-free experience. Trust Lamakia Travel for your next adventure. Visit lamakiatravel.com to start planning today. Ryan, let's go back to the topic at hand. If you're Carthage, what are you trying to do? Again, easier said than done. To get the last 3, again, must win by 2 to finish up in a sweep.
I mean, you want to stay aggressive, but you want to also hit those open spots that they've been doing all game. You know, a little lapse here to get the score to this point, but if they come out here and just take control, hit those open spots, shut down the attack, and just get a good pass right off the bat, you know, I think they can close this out. But that's why they play the game.
Yeah, so Coach Kiekefer actually was confirming the amount of subs he has left. So they're out of timeouts. I believe they got a few subs left to go. Kolwitz, left side for Ishii. Playable for the Vikings. Near pin, triple block. Going back, free ball. Can the Vikings capitalize? The back set, huge up by Kolwitz. Ishii, down the line.
Found that open spot.
The Terminator.
Great dig by Carthage on that.
And in comes to serve specialist Ryan Kelly, Ethan Sprague, the junior, another player out of Wawa Tosa. Miscommunication by the back line of North Park after Josiah Walker had a touch at set 3-point, and the Vikings utilizing their last timeout. And while we have a moment, what could be our final break, let's remind everybody about the Champions Club. Invest in champions, invest in the future. Introducing the Carthage Athletics Champions Club. Join a community of alumni, parents, and friends whose generous support enriches the Firebird experience and drives Carthage Athletics forward. Carthage student athletes are more than game changers. They're leaders, team builders, future innovators, and more. Your sport helps them thrive academically, athletically, and beyond. Become a champion for our champions. Visit athletics.carthage.edu to give to the Champions Club today. 24-22, The Vikings, again, those small miscommunication things. It's a team learning each other. So hard to stomach, though, if you're a fan of the Vikings, especially the players and the coaches.
Yeah, it's got to be tough, having one win on the season, but, they're going to learn from it and keep on growing and get there one day. Peter, I want to thank you for the opportunity to join you today, and hopefully we'll join you in some future broadcasts.
Yep. They haven't kicked us out yet, so. Brittany Welch, Jason Bongrantz, Teddy Gedville, Charlie Simonau French, and Carolina Aviles. Nice uppercut. Keep it alive. Over the middle. Far pin has the angle. Out of play. That's going to be it. That's going to be all she wrote. The Carthage College Firebirds sweep the Vikings at home. It got very interesting in the third, but the resolve of the Firebirds stands tall. Ryan, before we take a break, thoughts on this contest?
Great all-around game by Carthage. Like we mentioned, both of us a number of times. They're blocking, they're passing, they're serving. All aspects of the game were right on point. They executed, they were efficient in their passes, and really just controlled it from beginning to end there, and shows why they're number 3 in the country right now.
Indeed it is. We'll take a break. When we come back, the post-game show with head coach J.W. Kiekefer will break down stats, highlights, and more. Taking a quick timeout, we'll be back. Flames win, or the Firebirds win in a fiery, flamey fashion in 3. We'll be back. And welcome into the post-game show here on the CCIW Network. A sweep for the number 3 Birds over the Vikings of North Park. Alongside Ryan Reitz, I'm Peter Ferreri, joined now by head coach J.W. Kiekefer. Coach, you had a lot of your depth players have a huge presence today, especially in set number 3. It's got to be a good feeling to know your system works so well. You call on a player going in the contest, and they're able to finish.
Yeah, really proud of the entire roster there. Ethan Sprague, 625. That's really impressive. Xavier Willett, 203, 667. 417 from Carter Gibbons, 6 kills on 12 attempts, so 50% kill. Just some really good stuff out there. Joe Kolowitz taking 6 attacks, hitting 500, 4 kills on the center position. That's really impressive. So just really proud of this group. Devin O'Callahan, 6 digs in 3 sets. That's also pretty difficult. So I thought we passed the ball really well. Devin, Stover, and Ishii did a great job. I thought our middles really controlled the match with their presence, both offensively and slowing the game down from North Park's offense and getting in the way. And I really thought we served the ball well. It was good to see Devin McRae go to the baseline in set 2 and rip off a couple points. That was really awesome. So, yeah, just a good job from our entire group. Seeing more guys play some volleyball, and I'm just really happy that we were able to showcase the talent and depth of this group. Like, those guys are just working their tails off every single day. Just really impressive volleyball players, guys that I trust to go win matches in any way, shape, or form. So to see them get out there and play great volleyball, it was expected. I knew they were going to do that, and I'm really proud of them. And, Adrian Mashevsky does a great job there off the bench a couple of times as a senior. So really good. It's senior week for us. So Adrian, Michael Yem, Ryan Morey, and Ruben Emmerich, big week for them to celebrate their careers with us. And it was really great to be able to get Adrian some time. He's been really beat up last couple seasons and hasn't been available a lot. So to get him on the court during his senior week, get him some real play. I was really impressed with him. Got a big kill there as well. So just really thankful for what Adrian and Ryan and Ruben and Michael have done for this program, and excited to celebrate them on Saturday. But they all did a great job today. I guess Ruben and Maury didn't play, but those two guys, Yem and Adrian, just did a fantastic job scoring some points for us today.
Well, I said, put a little bit of Provel cheese on it. Talk about St. Louis. He's good to go.
Yeah, he's ready to go. Get some toasted raviolis out there too.
You go.
Right?
Love it.
Yeah, you brought up Kolowitz, and I was very impressed, with the depth of the team. He had 24 assists, 4 kills, 2 digs, a solo block, an assist block. And, they're just having the depth and those guys really stepping up. You guys were so efficient, played a complete game, found the open spots. The passing was on point. Your setters were barely moving. So it was a great overall game.
Yeah, Ishii and Stover and Devin O'Callahan did a great job in the serve reception space, and I thought Ryan Bartz did a good job when he was in there for the first set. I thought Joe really controlled the match, and it starts with his ability to play offense. He had a good two-handed jam there in set 1 that just gets the other team to respect him. I think then he fake swings and sets Ethan Sprague there for a big kill in set 1, just getting the other team's eyes on him and allowing our offense to really move. I was really impressed with that, and he, Joe made a pretty awesome dive block in set 2 one-on-one. That was one of the best block moves I've seen in a long time. So his ability to affect the game in different phases with his serve, you see him most of the time being that serve sub for us, one of our captains coming off the bench and doing some big things for us. So you normally see his serve, and obviously that's a weapon for him. You saw that today. But to see him play, the setter position, where he's comfortable at it, it's been fun. And I thought Michael Yem, really brought the serve pressure, talking about the St. Louis stuff. And, unique to have a short server in the men's game. You don't usually do that a whole ton. And so it's good to get him some game reps. We haven't used that in a while. And so to have that in the arsenal of service specialists back there when we need it is going to be big coming down the stretch if we need to get an advantage.
No, and also, just knowing that depth's there for the remainder of the season, having these guys stepped up, and such a balanced attack. 5 kills, 4 kills, 5 kills, 4 kills, 6, 3. It just across the whole board, it was so balanced they couldn't focus on one guy.
Yeah, so, and not just the kills, right? Justin Ishii has 5 aces. Eric Stover has 2 aces. Bart's got an ace. Ben Heiss got an ace. Joe Kolowitz gets an ace. So it's not just the point production from the front court. It's also the point production from the baseline, just spread through all 6 rotations. And, like you said, if you can't key on one guy, it's going to be impossible to stop us. And we've done that really well throughout the year. I think the last week we didn't do that great. We just kind of relied on Ben and Bartz, and so we got to diversify the offense a little bit, get our middles more involved. And I thought Joe did that well today, like you said, 5-4, 5-4, 6-3. Like it's really when you look up at the scoreboard and you just see 5s and 4s. It's like, man, I don't know how I even try to stop it. Everybody's scoring points today.
No, it was a great balanced attack.
Augustana, Saturday. It's the final home game of the regular season before you hit the road north against North Central, and then Illinois Wesleyan. What's going to be like this special ability of hosting one more time this Saturday before what we see transpires the rest of the season?
Yeah, you know, these are a couple of the guys, you know, just the senior class, and you know, Joe's included in that, but coming back for a 5th year. So we'll celebrate him in his actual senior year, than the last year where he's in Tarble. But to get Michael and Ruben and Ryan and Adrian, just to celebrate them and their careers and what they've done for Carthage volleyball, and how they've brought us back to the #1 team in the country. You know, when they showed up, we were #1 for 2 or 3 weeks, and we haven't had it back since this year. And the perseverance for these guys to get better, to push this program forward, to run the culture where people believe in each other, where we can do this today, where we play so many different faces, where we all believe in each other. We all enjoy the time we have together. We all understand that, you know, we are a top 10 team in the country. We're the best team in the country no matter who's on the floor. It goes back to their selflessness. It goes back to how much they care about that guy next to him. It goes back to how much they want to win. And it's not for themselves. It's not for their own ego. It's for Carthage and for each other. And it's just really special what the 4 of them have built together, what they've continued to bring out of this group, and how much they've grown as men. It's going to be a tough Saturday for me. Hopefully we can get through it and play some really good volleyball through it. But to get to celebrate those 4 guys who've meant a lot to this program, and they just do things the right way, and to remember when they were 17, 16 years old, recruiting them to the men they are today, it's really special and really cool, and I couldn't have built this without them. So really thank you from the depth of my heart, and everybody please come out and celebrate those 4 guys. They deserve it, and it should be some really good volleyball. Augie's a really, really good volleyball team. I think that's the biggest thing, is the last 3 matches we have here in conference play are some of the best teams in the country.
Correct.
And so how do we dictate play and not go behind 2-7 again in the first set? How do we get out strong and dictate play and be the aggressor? I thought we did that throughout the match pretty well, but we got to be the aggressor at 0-0 and dictate play and be the best team in the country. So that's going to be the goal when we go out against Augustana and see what we can produce.
Yeah, and Coach, if you didn't get a chance to see, it just shows how strong this conference is. Illinois Wesleyan swept Loris.
Yeah, so we were kind of talking about that on the way up. That's pretty remarkable. I thought Loris played some really, really impressive volleyball at their place on Saturday. Obviously, we were #1 at the time. So Illinois Wesleyan is one of the best teams in the country. It's a really great job that Brandon has done with that program and elevating what they've done. They got, you know, a freshman in Provost who's really stepped up on the right pin, and then Kuzela has been the national player of the week. It feels like 2 or 3 times, throwing up triple doubles every week. So assists, digs, and kills. Like he is a problem. He hit like 480 today. Dude's a problem. So a long way to go. We're focused on Augie. We're focused on Bolin. We're focused on Huntington. We're focused on those guys right now. How we're going to go make some stops against those guys in Clark, and see what we can do to go win that match here at home. Celebrate our seniors, and then you know, roll the dial and see where we can go for those matches. But yeah, CCW is close. It's one of the best conferences in the country. It always is. We always have 2 or 3 teams nationally competitive, and it's 3 again. What a shock. You know, it's a grind every week. So I'm excited to go get Augie and see what happens.
Sounds great, Coach. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you
Guys.
Saturday.
Appreciate your time. Go Birds.
Congrats. Thank you.
All right, that was, of course, some parting words for head coach J.W. Kiekefer here in the post-game show. Ryan, thoughts about what Coach had to say before we break down the stats one final time?
No, I mean, like you said, with these tough games coming up, they got to stay focused. They got to stay and play their game. If they control the game like they did today, like they have most of the year, you know, they're going to be right there. They're gonna compete for #1, take it over, and that it should be a heck of a tournament.
Oh man, it's going to be fun. Let's take a look now at the final stats brought to you by the Pullman Auto Stores, the greater Kenosha area, here on the CCIW network. 35-16 the kill differential, 291 to -081. The defense stood tall for the Firebirds. 11-4 the service ace differential, 7-1 the blocks, and the digs. North Park, we figured they would. They came out strong with the digs, just couldn't find their way the rest of the way. Let's take a look now at the upcoming schedule on the CCIW network. It's a home Wednesday sweep, men's lacrosse, women's lacrosse, and men's volleyball. Saturday softball doubleheader against UW-Whitewater, men's volleyball versus Augustana, as was mentioned. Sunday, doubleheader for softball versus Beloit, baseball North Central at noon, and then next Wednesday, April the 1st, baseball versus Carroll, and then women's lacrosse versus the Foresters of Lake Forest. we want to thank you as we see the next home broadcast, Carthage versus Augustana, Saturday, March the 28th at 3 o'clock. Be here with us on the CCIW Network. On behalf of all the staff and crew this Wednesday evening in Kenosha, for executive producer Mike Love, producer John Voinovich, the rest of the staff and the crew, Morgan directing, Jeremy on graphics, Ty on replay, Riley and Addison on camera, a fully student-produced broadcast, the best of the best on the CCIW Network. This program is in presentation of Firebird Broadcast Productions and Carthage College, copyright 2026. Once again, on behalf of Ryan Reitz, I'm Peter Ferreri. Birds win in a sweep. Have a good night, everybody.